Good Friday morning, everyone. Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, here with you on the Weekend Big Show. My partner and two-thirds of the former unholy triumvirate, Jeremy Schroeder, ruler of the airways. And Jeremy, I am like a kid on Christmas Day. And I don't know if you know why. We talked about it a little bit last night, but you sent me a TikTok about the Seinfeld episode about the marine biologist.
Was
And
that not amazing?
that's pretty stunning. And it's so funny because right now Jerry Seinfeld is who we're talking about. Jeremy sent me a TikTok video last night uh, for uh, for an interview that Seinfeld did on the Rich Eisen show, which maybe he talked some Jets football. I don't know. So anyway, Rich is kind of all over the place. But the thing about it is they were talking about the episode where George was pretending to be a marine biologist. It's a whole diatribe into pulling a golf ball out of the blow.
He was angry that day, my
It
friends.
was like an old man just in soup.
Back in the day.
And so Seinfeld's breaking it down. It's just an awesome clip, and maybe Jeremy can share that later on our Facebook page. But it's just the reason I'm excited is today I won't get a chance to even check it out till tomorrow. But Seinfeld's new movie adventure, Unfrosted, comes out today. It's on Netflix, and it's going to be about it's a fictional account of the invention of the Pop Tart. So,
Oh my.
can you think of a breakfast food that has had a better 6-month run than the Pop Tart?
I can't after the Pop Tarts bowl and the
Throughout
giant
history,
Pop Tart that got eaten. Yeah.
the Pop Tart is back, baby, and they're back big. So we're streaming live on Facebook. We want to thank Connor Carr, Kenny McGuire, and Eric Richardson for tuning in. And we've got quite a few things to get into here. This is the Weekend Big Show on Law Dog Sports. But Jeremy, you were doing a bit of a victory lap last night, and there's one particular recruiter on campus in Norman that you seem to be. He seems to be rolling sevens just about each time you see the eye. Well, that was a former coach that used to put the eyeballs emoji, but
I think we're using a lock now. This is the
yeah,
lock. Yeah.
yeah. But so anyways, a big get in the portal for the OU Sooners football team as Dominic Williams. And I all week long I was pronouncing it demonic. Uh,
Okay.
no, the big defensive lineman from TCU transfers from Fort Worth and comes up I-35 to Norman, and you're pretty excited about that get for the Sooners.
Yeah, it fills a massive hole up front. They need 300-pound dudes going to the SEC. And this guy, he's a dude. He's a good player. 6'2", 320. He's been at TCU. He's had pretty decent stats there. He's had some good run. He looks the part. He's physical. They need that. They need that. They need a big brother to David Stone and the Jackson kid and those guys. Plus, they got I don't know how you say it, Lolly,
Lala,
Lowell,
no,
Lolly.
I don't.
You're thinking of Jordan
Yeah, don't
Alu, who we were
quit
talking about the other
bouncing,
day.
quit bouncing Samoan names off me, brother.
The big kid from Louisville.
Yeah,
I know
Louisville.
I said that right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're that the defensive line room's looking good now. They got like 5 guys over 300 pounds now, which is it's nice to see. It's been a while, right?
well, it's a necessary evil within, like you said, the SEC because there's teams in the SEC that have gone to the spread a bit, but they're teams that will spread it out, but also have a pretty good size back. But then also we've seen this, and Kyler Murray probably still has nightmares
Ooh, Quentin Williams. Oh
about Quentin
Lord.
Williams. But if you have a defensive line that can get pressure straight up the middle, it just does so much to disrupt a quarterback's flow and timing. I mean, that's why Aaron Donald is probably maybe the most impactful player on the defensive side in the last 10 years. And,
Him and Ndamukong Suh just
Sue,
get right up the gut, right, get
yeah.
right after you.
And
Big physical dudes.
I'm sure Landry Jones has nightmares about Sue.
Oh boy. Was
But
that a 5 interception game caused by
it
Sue?
was bad, bad. But that's the thing about the defensive lineman. When you get one like that, or when there is one like that, you are you're cooking with oil, and that's, I mean, you look at Venable's defenses at Clemson. I mean, he had some pretty solid, defensive lines there, and that's why they were able to compete for a national title. Steve Anderson checking in from down in Southeast Oklahoma. Hi, Steve-O, and we're not talking NASCAR, so suck it.
Yeah, the Williams kid probably ticks that defense from a good defense to a very good defense. In my opinion, he
Well,
was sought after. Texas wanted him, LSU wanted him. That guy up at Drinkwitz, oh Eli wanted him. What was it, Millhouse?
so I get this text from Jeremy, or no, a tweet. It's on our Twitter page. And Jeremy tagged me on it, says I will never unsee it. And I guess it's got to be AI. I mean, that's
Oh, Tattoo Baker does the photoshops.
okay. So it's a Photoshop. Um, it's the Missouri Tiger emblem with Millhouse from
The Simpsons.
and
Wearing Crocs.
Millhouse Drinkowitz wearing Crocs. That's the reason I thought it was AI is just because of the four-pronged description.
Well,
Uh,
the Williams kid's agent tweeted that out. Is this coach going to get him? And it was the picture of Millhouse, and everyone knew who it was depicting.
Yeah. Connor Carr on the Facebook live stream. I can't believe Drink is from my hometown. He's such a douche.
Sorry, Connor, and
Yeah, it
agreed.
happens. I mean, Ricky Bryan and the Bryan brothers are from my hometown. I can't relate. So,
Yeah,
anyway.
right.
Hey, also, before we carry on with this, don't forget we've got unfinished business at the end of the show. And then also, we're giving away tickets this week, and we've been trying to give them away. So, folks need to really spread the word. We're giving away tickets this week for next Friday's show at Lucky Star Clinton for Pat Green and Josh Abbott Band. So, if you're a Texas songwriter, Texas Red Dirt fan, that is going to be the place to be. And I love me some Pat Green. Gina and I will be there, and looking forward to that. I like the Josh Abbott Band fine. I haven't. They're not one I just delve into deep, but I imagine there's quite a few people that do. So we'd love to be giving away some tickets. So you're going to need to go to lawdogsports.com and go to the leave a message function on the webpage, lawdogsports.com, and just let me know that you want those tickets. We tried 2 weeks ago the keyword pollen, which you and I were both suffering from allergens pretty heavy at the time, and it didn't go over too well. But if folks want to get on there, or if you know somebody that would like some tickets, tell them to go to lawdogsports.com, go to the send a message page, part of the page, and get on there. Hey, compliments on the air to you, and folks on Facebook might have seen it, but you've gone from purple to a grayish blue, I guess, or something like that in your studio.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's actually bracing blue is what the
Okay.
Lowe's said it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's done.
How
It's
how
done.
high, how high do you think the Lowe's paint color name creators are when they sit around and this one? How about this one?
Extremely. Extremely.
Yeah, they are out there. So we're getting the show out today. I'm in a bit of a hurry, so if I forget some things, Jeremy will be on the hook to try to remind me. But I've got to be in Muskogee this evening for Weatherford soccer, as we'll be on the air on Right.media, Weatherford Eagles TV for boys quarterfinal 4A playoffs. The Weatherford Eagles take on the Hilldale Hornets, which, Jeremy, it's kind of weird. I haven't been to Hilldale since I played seventh grade football there in 1983.
Oh
So
my gosh. What corner of the state is Hilldale in?
it's a Muskogee.
Oh, okay.
It's like a separate school district outside of Muskogee. I don't know if it's ever
Okay.
an actual town, but
Hmm.
they've risen to some pretty successful. They're a pretty competitive team in Green Country in all sports, really. Uh, I think their baseball might have qualified for state. I can't remember, but as you know, I've been doing the Wednesday night broadcast, the Western Oklahoma game night. This last week, we had a guy who's actually from Norman and runs a great website and Twitter page. And I freely admitted that I gleaned a lot of information from him over the last year and a half. But it's called Sooner State Baseball Report, and man, that guy, it was a fun visit. And man, you talk about harvesting the scores and info. I mean, he's staying on top of it on a daily basis, and it was pretty cool. Newt Huntley is his name, and we had a good
I think
visit.
I caught a little bit of that.
Yeah, yeah. So we were talking a lot of high school baseball. I didn't get into a whole lot of college just because Wednesday night is kind of the. I mean, I guess if SWASU had something, it's Western Oklahoma focus, so we'll focus on that. Gary Carter, Sean Bonner watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Eric Richardson. A lot of state baseball going on right now, provided rain stays away. Man, isn't that the truth? I mean, good grief. David Payne, I bet that guy's been running on Red Bull and Red Bull and
He's
uppers
probably
all
kicked
week.
it straight to methamphetamine at
Oh
this
yeah,
point.
he's cranking.
See him out there snorting it off a hunting knife. We know we're in trouble.
Oh yeah, and then what was it? Was it last Saturday that there were so many
It
that
was Saturday.
Marietta storm and
Uh-huh.
you guys might have been in the crosshairs there for a minute.
Sulfur. It went around us. It just split and went
Yeah.
around us, which was cool. We still got in the shelter because up the
Yeah.
road more the sirens went off, but we were
Well,
never in any real danger where we're at.
it'll probably split around you guys from this point on since we moved from Norman.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I believe the last time we had a roof replaced, you were just up the street here. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. We I retired from the police department in May of 2021.
uh-huh.
The day I signed my papers, we got hit that night, the night before, with the first baseball size hailstorm. Then we go all summer waiting to get repairs, because all we hear is supply shortage, due to
Oh
COVID.
yeah.
And so I think we waited 4 months on windows. And so then after we get under contract on our house to sell and move to Western Oklahoma, second hailstorm rolls in. We did 2 roofs in a matter of 6 months.
Yep, that's the
That's the
lovely
devil.
Norman living right
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
You're
But
almost
prayer,
in Morris or you're in the crosshairs.
but prayers definitely go out to the folks in Marietta, Sulphur, and Holdenville. Those basically, particularly the places that were hit the hardest. And I would hope that Sulphur and Marietta, considering their geography in the state and one particular five civilized tribe that brings in an enormous amount of money, will be hand in hand with the FEMA and everything to help get Sulphur back on the air. Um, Chuck being passive aggressive, I would never believe it. What was I? Did you notice any passive aggression?
I don't believe so.
Somebody liked it. Who did? Who liked it?
That
You
was me.
jerk.
I liked it. Well, I'm liking all the comments here.
Okay. Well, I don't know what I was passive aggressive about. Maybe I don't know.
It's passive engagement.
Yeah.
See?
But anyway, let's get back on track here. And so we talked about the Dominic Williams portal signing, and that's the thing we've come to, Jeremy, in this college football realm. And the coaches are complaining about it. I don't think the fans or talking heads are complaining one bit, because you talk about some content, here in the first week of May for regard
Mm-hmm.
of people. You don't even have to be an OU, media platform. You can obviously Jeff Ketchum down in Texas is losing his wig,
Oh
and
my goodness.
you know,
That guy, yeah, the delusion. It's
yeah,
delicious.
he is so amazing. He's brought my life so much joy watching him over the past 5 seasons. When he and Anwar Richardson go live on the Orange Bloods Facebook page, somehow he still remembers how to do the split screen just through Facebook or something like that. I guess we have to rely on we have to rely on John Matthews. Uh,
Thank God for John. Yeah, I haven't. I've been waiting on Kyle Umlang to pipe up, but he has not. So,
okay, so Connard was calling out a comment. So I don't
oh, okay.
calling out officials without calling them out. Who've I called?
Oh, must be talking about your employment as the voice of Weatherford Sports.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're going to Hilldale. I mean, it'll be interesting. You know, I
Did
don't.
you Matt Pinto an official?
Oh yes, I
Okay.
I am pretty passive aggressive with the officials, and what I do is I defer the blame over to the Weatherford crowd.
Ah.
Weatherford faithful not happy with that blown call one iota. How about that? You know,
Yep.
because the governing body will get on you pretty hard about the governing body will get on you pretty hard about criticism of officials on the air. I got warned about that the first season I did Weatherford basketball. It was a Douglas kid that did a plain leg sweep on one of our guards, and then they called it traveling. So I was pretty irritated. Steve Anderson says the tornadoes were bad. Choctaw and Chickasaws had boots on the ground. I knew they would. I knew they would. So Scotty Smith, old buddy of mine, checking in. So we appreciate all the comments. And don't forget, we're giving away tickets to Pat Green and Josh Abbott for next Friday. If anybody wants to make the trip out to Clinton Lucky Star Casino, that's going to be a great show. And all you have to do is go to lawdogsports.com and just let us know you want the tickets on the leave a message site on our deal. Are you able to see the little stick figure thing behind me?
I is it
All right.
sticking out of a cup?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. What is that?
Happy,
Oh, hey,
happy
happy
fest.
Festivus. I'm watching the Facebook feed. You got
Yeah.
it.
Looking for I'm looking for some batteries because it's got soundtracks from Frank Stanza.
Oh yeah, you got a. Where's the aluminum pole? Is it around there somewhere?
Yeah, that's a mini aluminum pole.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Festivus pole. Kenny McGuire, just got to be nice, Chucky. It's tough not to badmouth the officials on the air. Mike always talks me off the ledge. Thomas Terrier, color commentary, Kenny McGuire, and insurance agent extraordinaire. Yeah, you just if you're on a broadcast of any sort, and that's something that the OSSAA will really get after you about. It is definitely taboo, so to speak. So, anyways, football, like I mentioned, the Dominic Williams portal signing and other portal signings, it gives the Parker Thunes and people like that plenty of content throughout the year. I know it's going to run coaches out of the business, I'm told, but this portal stuff is going to be huge.
No, they've got to rein it in just a touch. I mean, we have what, two portal openings
Yeah.
in the spring? You have the opening right after the season ends, and there's two openings. I want to say there's 3 to 4 openings between seasons, and then you'll have the portal open back up at the beginning of the season.
Well, and
It's wild.
you mentioned before we went on the air that oh, Sean Bonner says, "How was it calling the game with Douglas fans behind you?" We're not going there. Sorry, buddy. Not gonna do it. The words of Dana Carvey doing President.
He was angry that day, my friends.
um, no, but and so you mentioned off the air how Orange Blood's founder Jeff Ketchum, who I won't body shame him, but uh, he was really twisting off about the loss of Gavin Freeman. While I had high hopes for Gavin Freeman, he's basically one big play, and not a lot of else. Two,
2 plays. He had the punt return in the opener this year,
okay,
and
punt return.
he had a jet sweep
It
that
was
he
jet
ran in
sweep.
for a touchdown in the first
Yeah.
game last year, and multiple muffed kicks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never really found his spot in this, at receiver, and they've gotten better at the position.
Yeah, and
Just how football works, right?
he was a tech commit back when we used to do the show on KSEY, and we
Under the Wells staff,
under the
yes.
Matt Wells staff. And then when Matt got fired and Cumby was in there, he pulled his commit and walked on. So really, was he even a preferred walk on?
He was a preferred walk on.
Okay,
Yeah, he's a legacy, so
yeah.
he'd get the preferred walk on.
So
And
Jason,
then he was put on scholarship after the first season.
but he's a Heritage Hall kid, and you always think Heritage Hall kids are going to strike like Sterling Shepard did. Not
Or
all of
Wes Welker.
Wes Welker, yeah. But that's the case. We'll see how it affects recruiting the Heritage Hall kids down the road. I know they've got a quarterback coming in, Andy Bass, who's a big time quarterback. I don't
I
looking at
think he's already on campus.
he probably is. Yeah,
Yeah.
he played against Clinton last year, and he's
Uh-huh.
armed. But I mean,
He
unless you,
didn't I don't think he came to OU to play quarterback.
that's what I was going to get to. He could be one of
Oh,
those
okay.
kids that comes on as an athlete, but because now, I mean, you're talking about a realm of quarterback play. Especially taking the step to the SEC, and obviously the NIL collective in Norman is going to be able to draw those elite 11 type quarterback recruits. I mean, you're not. I mean, I mean, shoot, we lost General Booty this week. What?
I know.
No.
What is this world coming to? The general.
Yeah,
And you know what? I hope he goes somewhere and he gets to play. He seemed, by all accounts, great kid. I mean, NIL master.
sure. Well, and so I don't know. It's funny because this portal stuff and some success in the portal or things going the other way. It's funny how those recruiting gurus and I mean, I named him once already, but the kid that's on the ref in the afternoons, man, they Parker
Yeah,
Thune.
Parker Thune.
There is so much conflict on social media between Sooner coverage. I mean, to me, what I see is there's the Radosevich camp and the Parker Thune camp, and they go at
Yeah,
each
then you have
other.
the Captain 405.
Oh yeah,
It's great when one of them gets something wrong and then they all fight and fight on Twitter for 24 hours. Those are fun times.
yeah. Well, and so it's going to be interesting, and football will be here just before you know it. Shoot, really think about it, Jeremy. We're just a month and a half from media days,
I know. SEC media days, my friend.
maybe 2 months. Two,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean,
You won't have to deal with that goofball Yormark.
your. Well, that brings a good question. Is I mean, are you gonna keep a Big 12 team kind of in your back pocket to follow and root
Of
for?
course.
Who you
Of
got?
course. The Utes.
You're going Utes.
I've always had a little bit of a man crush on Kyle Whittingham, so I like the way I like the way he coaches that team. I like the way they play ball.
I'm
I,
going.
I
I mean, I kind of feel obligated to go Texas Tech and
Yeah,
McGuire.
Colorado, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Colorado.
Yeah, let's get into that here in a minute. Might want to steer
Surprised we
clear of
haven't yet.
what we talked about. But no, mine's going to be torn between Texas Tech and Sparky. I've liked Arizona State really back since the the who was it, Jake Plummer. Was his name?
Jake Plummer, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The
those days.
snake.
Yeah, the snake. So I could be an ASU fan, and follow that just because it's a pretty cool area. And then also, we'll have to keep some coverage of the Cowboys also. But so as you mentioned, the Colorado Buffs have been in the Twitter feed and the Twitterverse pretty hefty this week on the comments of not just the sons of Deion Sanders, but Coach Prime himself. Here's the thing, and I'm not going to get out on a limb too far either way because this is going to be kind of fun to watch play out. But Deion, I mean, he comes into coaching with all of this success cachet from his playing days, and then also using his notoriety to help an HBCU come to some amount of prominence
And his money.
and his money. So what we're talking about is basically like if Jordan had taken over Villanova or taken over DePaul in basketball. You come in, yeah, you're Michael Jordan, and you can kind of tell people. The thing about college football is it works on so many levels: donors, administration, players, families, all of that. And as we see on a regular basis at the University of Texas at Austin, is
Don't even give him that UT Austin.
yeah, that Utah, Utah. So as we see at Texas, even the best coaches, Mac Brown would be somebody I would consider to be the best at placating all of those different factors. You run awry of those at any school, and next thing you know, your seat is extremely hot, and especially if you roll out anything close to another 4-8, which I mean,
That's happening, man. That they're going to be bad this year,
yeah,
and that's a game everybody's got circled. It is. I mean, Dion Dion needs to take a take a note from the page of all these other coaches that have been successful and build up. Don't tear down. Keep your butt off Twitter unless it's positive.
yeah.
That's
I
it.
mean
That's it. The kid
but
leaves your program. Wish him the best of luck. Hope you do great. Sorry it didn't work out here. And that's it. You don't say another word.
no,
Let it go. Get your kid off Twitter.
and that was
Done.
that really was the Stoops method. I mean, Bob didn't give fodder for anything really. If you look back, now he would take shots at the SEC, but he would
Sure.
generally have
Bob Stoops is a great man.
a non-game against them. But
Everyone knows that.
yeah, but I mean, the thing about it is you're exactly right. He would not give the fodder to media to take and run and make it a big, back even the days before
In
it came.
fact, he wouldn't give the media anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was total coach speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dion's not operating like that, and the thing is, I mean, if he does have success, well, then I heard this yesterday from the pencil neck in LI.
Oh,
If you win, it absolves a lot of stuff. If you start winning, it absolves a lot of fodder. And so what they're going to do is keep heaping money into this portal situation. And his kids are talented. I don't know. I'm not a draft prognosticator. I don't know that I would go out on a ledge and say my son's going to be top 5 pick, you know, straight out, before the season. But I mean, I would say Shadur Sanders could make an NFL roster.
yeah.
You know,
And here's the thing, Spencer Rattler.
yeah,
Now, if you watch the QB1 documentary, yeah, he ran his mouth. He came off as a horses, you know what,
yeah.
as a 17-year-old high school kid.
Oh yeah,
So, and now we're told that jaded a lot of these NFL executives against taking him high, and he
yeah.
fell into the 5th round of New Orleans. Well, none of that. I mean, Shadur is talking trash about teammates on Twitter. There
Mm.
are receipts. Is that going to affect him?
No, because of the last name.
But here's the deal: when he's gone, and when Shiloh are both gone from the program,
Dad's gone.
Dion's gone. He's
Yeah,
gone. I do not see him sticking around for that. And guess what? His last recruiting class, they signed 5 high school kids.
yeah.
5.
And portal kids sounds like
Portal kids ain't coming to that.
no, they're not.
You're
So
gonna have maybe enough
you
to
know what? I
field.
mean, and what it should do, if that is the case, if it plays out like that, it should be a big fat warning sign to these college presidents and these athletic directors. Say, you know what? Don't go for the big splash, big name hire
You
because
hired a showman, and that's what you're getting, and then he's gonna bail, and it's gonna be like dropping a nuke on that program.
it could be, yeah. And but like I said, if he does win, it's a whole different ball game. And if he, I don't know, but he's basically to me just rolling completely on what his pro success was.
But
As
if he wins, that's another thing, Chuck. If he wins, he's gonna get a better job
well,
because
that's
they're not paying him a lot there.
yeah. But I mean, I don't know. The thing about it is, and if you've ever played cards or dominoes or things like that, if you play with people who play all the time, they kind of know your moves
Mm-hmm.
can plan their moves. I mean, chess, checkers, that's strategy. And when you go into a situation completely unorthodox and a total wild card, you don't know what somebody's going to, play if I mean, everything with him right now is just kind of on the wild card. And
It seems like he's just making it up as he goes.
that could be. And let me tell you something that just from my experience playing dominoes, that can work. So
I
comparing
guess if
comparing
you don't
college
know what
football
you're
to
going to do, no
dominoes.
one else does either, right?
Exactly. If you don't, yeah. And that therein lies the key. But it'll be interesting. But it definitely it's another aspect of college football that gives the talking. I mean, it gives content. I mean, we're talking about it right now in the first week of May.
Yeah, I guess. And I don't have any love for the Colorado football program. I just that school never put anything behind it until they brought this guy in, and I
Well,
think it's going to be a cautionary tale at
yeah.
the end of the day. I mean, I'm talking about
Well, that's what I'm.
SMU death penalty levels of
Oh,
bad
wow.
after
Yeah.
he leaves.
But I don't know that you can reach that level anymore. I mean, the game has changed, which
I mean,
two
just
unfinished
as close as you
later.
can be,
Yeah.
because you got to realize if he leaves, the good players that are on that roster are portaling right out of there.
Oh, sure, sure.
And then there's no high school recruiting base. I'm sorry, even with the portal, your recruiting base are the high school kids you bring in that you're building your program with. The portal, man, that's just extra stuff. That's just icing on the cake. You got to
Well,
build the
and,
cake first.
and as we see throughout regular seasons, and it may not play out as much in the playoffs, but teams that recruited and developed and keep those kids on campus 3 to 4 years. I mean,
Michigan,
they get out there and knock heads. I mean, and
Michigan hadn't had a top 15 recruiting class in a while.
I thought they did the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, well, the meat and potatoes of that football team were not a top 15 recruiting class.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but Eric Richardson says they pay him for his name. CU thought his name would bring in big time players. Uh, they made a splash last season. Now you've got to pony up and I mean, here's the thing: they had some nationally televised games against some teams that were kind of in flux. TCU wasn't the playoff team that they faced, that they were the year before, and Nebraska, Colorado State. But you're up what 29-0 against Stanford, and then end up losing that game. So and
Yeah, I mean
that's
they
not
darn
just
near came back and beat stinking Lincoln,
yeah,
but
and that's not just on talent. That's coaching. I mean
yeah.
that I will say that about any coach. You're up 29-0 at the half and you lose. You have screwed the pooch coaching wise.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hand the ball off every once in a while. Run the ball. Run the
That
ball.
that clock is your
Kill the
friend.
clock. Sit on it.
So, anyways, college football will be a lot of fun this year, I think, and we'll
Got
we'll
new
be
rules being rolled out too.
yeah, we'll be
2-minute warning in college football.
yeah, and then that'll be interesting as well. So, moving onward, Jeremy, as we get into this, which would you rather tag on to, NBA playoff talk or finish up some stuff on the draft? Because when we were on the air last week, it was just the first round. Um, it's your
We could. I mean, we had some big stories in the NBA draft this week. Some massive disappointments, and one goat being bounced out.
All right, let's jump into the NBA then. And the association playoffs, I stayed up last night and watched the Knicks Sixers. Uh, and I'm telling you what, Jalen Brunson and that Knicks team, what a story. I mean, they're without Julius Randle and they're
Yeah.
advanced to the next round, past the Sixers. And it was fun to watch the post game with the guys on TNT as Jalen Brunson got a little dig in on Kenny Smith about the 2016 national title he and Jay Wright got over North Carolina. So because he comes to Philly, closes out the Sixers. He's from Villanova. There's banners hanging in is that crypto.com arena or whatever?
Used to be the Omni, right?
Used to be the Spectrum.
That one.
Yeah, used to
Yeah, the
be
Omni was in Houston.
Omni was in Atlanta. Yeah.
What was the one in Houston?
Toyota Center. No,
That's what it is now.
no, I can't remember what the Rockets played in the '80s, but I'm pretty certain the Omni was Dominique's land.
Okay.
But anyways, so Brunson closes out the Sixers in Philly. He won a national title there. Uh, there's banners. He points it out to Kenny Smith. It was a lot of fun. But Jalen Brunson, what a story! What, second round pick for Dallas out of Villanova?
Yep. And they let him walk for nothing.
They gave him away. Well, it was
Yep.
yeah, yeah. And
I think
so
they got a 2 for him.
they
Wasn't much.
yeah. So he has really showed out in New York, and they are, obviously a hard working team and scrappy. They showed a comparison of him last night with Bernard King, who was one of my favorite players back in the '80s for
Oh,
the.
he signed with the Knicks as a free agent.
Okay, so he was basically done with Dallas. They let him walk,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yep.
yeah. So great story there, but Sixers get closed out, and then what I took away from last night, Jeremy, is that I don't know how much CTE occurs in the National Basketball Association. We obviously know that Vontez Burfict has ruined Antonio Brown, but somewhere I don't know if it would be in a bar fight or what it would be. But Patrick Beverly has got to be examined. He's insane.
Well, yeah, I know. It's like that. He's been a villain ever since he took Russ's knee, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And now he's talking crazy to reporters.
Was he a
Uh,
Rocket then?
he was a Rocket
Yeah,
then. He's
yeah.
been a Rocket.
And everywhere.
He's been everywhere. He's been a Timberwolf. Man,
A Laker.
a Laker. Was he? Yeah, he was a Laker.
He
And
was
a
a Clipper
Clipper.
too, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Creek
anyways,
checking in.
yeah.
Rodeo from Weatherford. Yeah. So Patrick Beverly, if you didn't see it, and we may throw it. Oh my gosh! If you follow Super 70 Sports on Facebook, 14 hours
On
ago,
Facebook or
Twitter,
Twitter. Okay.
Larry Brown in overalls and some platform shoes, coaching an ABA game back in the '70s. Wow. So anyways, last night coming off of the court and in a closeout game in which Indiana uh, eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks, uh, Patrick Beverly throws a basketball at an Indiana fan who's behind the bench, and I think he missed his intended target and plows some woman right in the side of the head. Then the ball comes back to him, and he throws it again. He
Oh my goodness.
he gets it to the guy I think he wanted to hit. But here's the thing: as insane as Patrick Beverly is, and the post game was all he's going to be suspended for a long time for that and this and that. I mean, we've seen Russ Westbrook go insane on fans of a certain skin tone, sitting behind the bench. I mean, is that going to be Beverly's claim? Is that they were going racial on him? I mean, it's hard to say.
So I plead the fifth. I would.
You know,
Does he have that track record? I don't know, because the Russ thing that happened in Utah, and that's yeah,
yeah.
Utah and Boston. You're going to get that there. Guess what? That's what happens there.
Connor
But
Carr says dude was crazy when he played for the Hogs. I forgot that. He is crazy. Uh, who's
not
not
Vernon
crazy?
Maxwell crazy, but
Yeah.
crazy.
You know who is crazy that played isn't crazy that played for the Hogs? That's Jalen Williams. That kid,
That's right.
he's become my wife's favorite player. He just
That
particularly for the
that
post
guy
game.
is. Oh yeah, the post game stuff is great, and it just sucks that now games can't be televised locally because you're in the second round of the playoffs. So that post game scrum with Nick Gallo, we're not going to see that again till next
No.
season.
And TNT or ESPN's probably plenty happy with that.
Sure. Yeah,
Um,
after they big timed him to go talk to Gallo the other night.
yeah.
Are we feeling better about
Was that
Josh
intent?
Giddey?
Was that
Yes.
intent on that? That
I think
was
they
that
just
you
wanted to lift.
disrespected us all season, so we're gonna go talk to.
I think it had a little bit of that, but they have a routine. As soon as they get done, they go talk to Nick Gallo.
Yeah. Uh, So the Thunder are awaiting their second round opponent tonight. The Dallas Mavericks have a chance to close out the Los Angeles Clippers. Pretty certain that game's in Dallas, right? Because they
Oh,
throttled them in.
yeah, it's Dallas.
So Dallas leads the series 3-2. There was a stat I heard the other night that teams that win game four, I'm sorry, teams that win game five win like 80. The percentage was in the 80s that they win the series. So basically, if it's a high percentage if all you have to do is win one out of two over the next, unless you're the 2013 San Antonio Spurs, apparently.
Has there been a worse free agent signing than Kawhi Leonard signing with the Clippers?
You
And
know,
they because think of that signing, and you give up a guy who should be the MVP this year,
yeah.
your entire future, plus Danilo Gallinari for Paul George, and this is your playoff. This is your deep playoff run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, do you see the logo on my ball cap today?
I seen it.
You think I care? You think I care that Kawhi's tanking for the
Oh,
Clippers?
I find it bad, just really bad,
He's
really, really, really bad.
the word mercurial is used a lot
Yeah.
in regards to players, and
First of all, I woke up one morning in July and was supremely bummed when I saw the Woj bomb. Paul George has been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers,
yeah, that was a blow, wasn't it?
and then I saw what they got.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, if that doesn't work, the Thunder are going to be set for the next 20 years.
Well, and it's funny you bring that up because Barkley went on a rant, I think, 2 nights ago. Who got eliminated 2 nights
Is he
ago?
talking about them fat women in San Antonio?
No, it wasn't fat women in San Antonio or dirty water in Galveston. It was he just hates the state of Texas. Uh, no, he went on a rant about coaches taking the brunt of this
Yes.
of the ire of losing teams, and he named several. And I mean, these general managers, and I guess I have to exclude Presti because he always seems to know the plan. I mean, you
He,
got to be patient with him, I guess.
yep.
Always seems to know the plan, but it's exactly right when you see when you like the Dallas general manager, and maybe it wouldn't have connected, maybe it wouldn't have been a connection with Jalen Brunson and Luka long term, but Jalen Brunson is balling out. When you need a bucket, he's got the spot to get you a,
Yep.
which is so vital in. And I was going to go on this whole rant about maybe Jalen Brunson is the anti-Steph because he incorporates long range and mid range. But Steph can hit mid range. He just chooses not to.
Steph can shoot it from anywhere on the floor, he feels like.
He can, but in a lot of ways, I think he's ruined the game for life. And that's my own personal opinion. Watching tons of high school basketball, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and none of the Weatherford Eagles are included in
Hey,
that.
remember Antoine Walker started that.
He kind of did, didn't he?
Why do you shoot so many threes, Antoine? Because there ain't no foes.
Well, and the thing about it is these general managers should be on the hook a lot more because, I mean, and that's why when the Lakers were eliminated, I took great joy. Uh, but here's the thing, Jeremy, that's two pronged. Part of it is joy seeing that franchise suffer, but on
they're
top
they're
of that, it's absolvent. It's absolvement of fear that they're going to go win another one.
is Kupchak still the GM out there? Who's the
Oh,
GM out there?
Krampus, no, it's
You just say Krampus?
It's Palinka, isn't it?
Rob Pelinka. Is
Yeah,
that right?
I think.
Okay.
I mean, they bring in these players constantly, and everybody wants to blame D'Angelo Russell. Everybody wants to blame Darvin Ham or Austin Reeves or whoever. I mean, the thing about it
There's
is
only one person to blame for. He
he
wears number 23 in a weave.
exactly, yeah, it needs to come on home. But anyways, yeah, and I mean, and that was the talk after they got eliminated, which was just a beautiful morning. But that was the talk was, you had Anthony Davis for 70 plus games this season.
Uh-huh.
Had your whole core there, but you're just not going to beat the Denver Nuggets, and maybe no other team
Well,
will either. I don't know.
you know what this just proves a point, and I've been saying this for the last 4 years. The bubble wasn't real.
No,
The
no.
play-in, the in-season tournament wasn't real,
Rob Parker, man, he's busted on them hard.
and LeBron creates a level of organizational fatigue
Yeah.
that no that is just it's inexplicable. I mean, it's explainable, but
Yeah.
it's inexplicable how these organizations they see it. Well, it's not going to happen. It's like socialism sweeping Europe. Well, they've never done it like us.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. You want me to read Conard's comment on Facebook, or you want to read it yourself?
Uh,
If it wasn't
was it
9:45
9:40?
in the morning,
That's
I'd start a drinking game about Chuck talking about the mid-range game.
well, Connor,
Gotta,
did you work from home? Just sign off for a little bit and let's
you know
get
what?
started.
Defense does win championships, pal.
Defense, and you know what? Your best mid-range shooters, they bring it home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, DeMar
DeMar
DeRozan,
DeRozan.
all the success he's having in Chicago.
That's right. Speaking of Chicago,
Mhm.
was there? You do realize that if Billy Donovan hadn't just said, "I'm not taking a part of a rebuild," he'd probably still be the coach in OKC,
You
and
definitely,
we probably wouldn't see a Thunder team this successful. So a lot of
yeah.
things do have to break your way, but him snapping up Dagnall and saying, "You're the guy now," the prescience in that move was just amazing.
And it's funny you say that because obviously Donovan brought the big collegiate success to the table with him. And so, having said that, you're going to come in and want to make sure that your ego and your legacy isn't affected by dealing with these professional players now. And obviously, Dagnall, he's not operating under that mantra. You know,
He grew up in a professional organization. He's been around a professional org. He was a ball boy at UConn, and then he got signed with the Thunder, and worked his way up through the G League as a coach.
yeah.
I don't. A lot of these great college coaches making the jump to the NBA. It hadn't worked.
Mhm.
Patino didn't work. Donovan. I mean, I guess it's kind of worked, but he also had a loaded roster when he got to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Hadn't worked in Chicago.
Well,
Um,
and
Lon Kruger failed in the NBA.
oh yeah, yeah.
Talk about a good coach.
A great coach. Yeah, it's going to be a situation where and here's the thing, back to that GM talk that we were mentioning. Um, look at Nick Nurse.
Yeah,
You know,
he all of a sudden forgot how to coach after
exactly.
after Kawhi left, and
They won a
yeah,
title.
Pascal Siakam became turned
And
into a
also
pumpkin.
Budenholzer,
Yeah,
wins a title at Milwaukee.
and then he's out. He's on the street,
And
and they
then
got Doc Rivers, who can't win a playoff series as their coach now. Has
so
there been a more disappointing one-time champion than the Milwaukee Bucks? I mean, not even their own doing, just disappointment from top to bottom. They haven't played well. Giannis is hurt. Dame is the same as he was in Portland,
yeah.
and now they're 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Yeah, gone fishing. Well,
Yep.
it's going to be interesting tonight as we see if Dallas can close out the Clippers also in the East, and which I don't cover. I don't follow a lot of the East, but it is Cleveland and Orlando, and I heard some talk, that uh, you know Cleveland will likely. I don't know. That's in Orlando, so you never know, but. The big one that affects everyone around here will be seeing if the Clippers can lead out. Going into the second round, it's always tough for the team. I always think it's tough for the team that's had the extended break because that team
Rest
coming
versus
out.
rust, huh?
Yeah, exactly,
Well,
exactly.
look at game one against the Pelicans. OKC had 6 days off,
Yeah,
and they came out and they couldn't hit a stinking shot.
yeah.
And then once they found their groove, they stayed in it. But yeah, that was it's a new experience for them. Maybe having the long break before the first round will help
Oh,
them in the
and
second round. I don't know.
with a team like that, I would imagine you're going over situational things. You know what you can do. You know how you're going to approach things, but you're you're probably tackling a lot of situational awareness things,
I mean, because you've been watching basketball probably roughly about the same amount of time as I have. Usually when
since
teams get into the,
1972, pal.
okay, so probably longer. But have you seen a team? Normally teams that get in the playoffs, that bench shortens, so they play about 8, 9 guys at the most. Oklahoma City's playing 11 guys every night.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's
kind of,
so fresh legs and rest. That's a beautiful thing.
yeah.
Hope the Mavs go 7.
Yeah, and obviously, of course, I don't know. The more games they play, maybe Luka's fitness gets a little better.
He's dealing with the knee, but it didn't seem like it was bothering him too much the other night when they beat the Clips by 30 points.
I gotta wonder how FanDuel and DraftKings appreciated that balm that he put on.
Whatever happens, Oklahoma City's ahead of schedule. Presti's put on a master class. Dagnall, nobody's coaching better than him right now.
All right, so don't forget we're giving away Pat Green and Josh Abbott tickets for next Friday at Lucky Star Clinton. Be sure and go to lawdogsports.com. Go to the message function down at the bottom of the page. Leave us a message. Tell me that you want some tickets, and we will get those out to you probably via your email because that's how tickets are done nowadays, Jeremy.
Yeah, QR codes, and that's
I'm
it.
like Kramer, total mind blow.
Right? Is that a title listed?
Wasn't that hilarious that Jerry said they had to clear it with Titleist within 12 hours?
Yes. That is so funny.
That's
That whole
funny.
story is just incredible.
Yeah. So a couple of topics, or one more topic before we get into unfinished business and then get out of here. NFL draft, the draft tracker, there were some more OU Sooners picked up. I saw the I saw the pick for Andrew Rame and where he landed, what, 6th or 7th round?
Undrafted free agent.
Oh, okay. So he went UFA.
Yep.
By that time, and that's something that I'm going to be interested with NIL and the collective. I just like saying collective, obviously. But wait, isn't that kind of communistic?
Sure.
Maybe I
Or the
better not.
Borg.
Maybe I
You watch
better.
Star Trek?
Uh, there was a lot of people that said he probably should have came back.
Oh, he most definitely should have come back.
But I mean, in this situation, if have you already hooked up with an agent? If your draft grade comes back, it had to come back fairly low, wouldn't you just kind of?
Chuck, these kids have agents in college.
Well, that's what I guess that's where I'm getting is you're already paid employee, you're already a contract employee.
The next step,
Hiring an agent.
the next step in all of this is these guys that declare early for the draft and don't get picked up are going to be able, as long as they don't sign with an NFL team, are going to be able to go back to college.
Yeah.
I mean, they have at this point they have to. The genie's out of the bottle as far as players already having agents when they're in college. Well, now that's just going to be the next evolution. You don't get picked up, oh well, yeah. Go back to college.
Yeah, and there's been I know for a fact that's happened in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
There's guys who have declared, well, the Alexander kid from Creighton who played at Heritage Hall. Um, is it D'Angelo Alexander?
D'Angelo. Did he play a little bit of time at OU? D'Angelo Alexander played at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a different D'Angelo Alexander.
He's Steven Alexander's son, the coach at Douglas.
Okay.
At Creighton. He declared last season, but obviously didn't get an agent, came back, got out
Right.
and came back. So it goes on in college basketball, but really with college basketball, you're talking about you can throw your name in the hat, and if you're not called within the first 35 picks, yeah, I'm good.
Right.
I'll go back to college. But it's one of those situations where, to me, it like you said, you talk about guardrails for the NIL and all of that stuff. Well, then also get the guardrails up to let kids have more options. I mean,
Sure.
they're making money in college now. I know all that. But I mean,
Yeah. I mean, once they go to a mini camp and get cut, what is there for them? The UFL, which could fold at any minute.
yeah,
Canada,
yeah.
sell insurance.
He
because they're not going. They don't go to college to play school anymore because they're getting paid at college.
Are you a little surprised that, normally kids that play in the Senior Bowl at least get drafted?
Not always. Who are we talking about? Rain?
Yeah,
Still? Yeah, I don't. That's. I know that he was thought highly of,
yeah.
at least highly enough of to go fourth, fifth, or sixth round, but
I know
it just
B
didn't happen.
probably like to have him back.
Oh yeah, he'd most definitely like to have him back, even though they got the center from Southern Methodist to come up, and
Yeah.
he'll probably be the starter.
All right, Dan Narva checking in late, but I'm sure he said he'll check.
And
Dan Narva. He's a guy I promise you has been watching basketball since 1972.
of course,
In his infancy, he was
that's right,
Piston.
Buck Rogers.
And that's funny. We'll get off on a different topic, but I honestly I could not tell you. The only thing I could tell you about OU football from before I was 10 years old was I thought the name Elvis Peacock was cool.
It still is cool.
Elvis Peacock and Kenny King. Beyond Rick,
Buster Rhymes.
that was after
That was
80.
1984.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
10. I was 10 in 1980, and everything before that is pretty much just a blur. I mean, I had OU stuff, but sitting down, it wasn't on in the house, so to speak. Uh,
sure.
but Elvis Peacock, that's what stands out. But that's why I hate these guys that sit around and like, oh yeah, they're my age. Like, I've been watching it since 75. I remember the Selmans. No, you don't. You were
No, you
5.
don't. You might have heard him on the radio, but
You've
you
heard
never
of
processed it.
Yeah. Okay, so unfinished business, and eventually we'll come up with a song intro theme for this. But unfinished business, and it's basically going to be a weekly topic in which Jeremy and I go back over something that we forgot to put in the show last week. And so last week, our unfinished business this week is Reggie Bush and his being reawarded the Heisman Trophy from, was that the 2004? 2005 that was a 2005 season.
Let's see. It was it
Because
04?
our OU's
No,
04
no, no. It was oh
played
05. It
them.
was oh 05 because oh
Yeah,
04 was Leinart,
yeah,
and then oh 05 would have been
yeah,
him. Yes,
yeah. I do, Dan Narva. I do remember Jamel Holloway. I was 15 when he took over. So
I remember Jamel too. I was 10 years old.
I was a sophomore. It was my first year in high school basketball. So anyways, but yeah. So Reggie Bush gets his Heisman back. Do you think Johnny Manziel got this all rolling for him?
I think the Heisman Trust stepping in it and sending out the condolences to OJ Simpson got the ball rolling on it.
Yeah, yeah. Good
Because
call.
OJ killed some people. I don't know if you know this or not. God rest his soul, but OJ allegedly
What?
murdered his ex-wife and her friend on the front porch of her Brentwood home. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know are familiar with the
That
story.
was I do remember that being a news blip.
Then led the police on a
I
chasing a
remember
white
I
Bronco.
remember it was the Knicks and it was the Knicks in Houston. The finals interrupted because of that stupid chase.
Yeah.
I was in Yale, Oklahoma, watching at a cookout that my dad was putting on, and it was on the Knicks and Bulls. Hakeem the Dream, and I think was Drexler on that team that year. Uh,
I think so.
then
No.
all of a sudden, it's full coverage of the white Bronco.
Yeah.
You
And
know, has one person ever completely ruined a line of cars like that? The Bronco is a
mm,
great American institution, and that piece of crap ruined the whole thing.
no, Broncos are still pretty popular afterwards. It was pretty good,
But making
pretty
them,
neat commercial for them. Yeah, they're making them again.
I mean, they quit
Let's see.
for that.
Trying to think. Hasselhoff didn't ruin the Trans Am.
Suck
Man,
it.
what was man? I don't know. I can't think of one other person. Maybe Alyssa Milano ruining Tesla. I don't know.
Listen, Milano can't ruin anything. Shut up. Uh,
Wow.
what was that Peter Griffin song? We knew you were going to be hot. Or something. Uh, anyways, Reggie Bush, I got no problem with it. I mean, here's the thing.
It's
He
so long
cheated.
ago.
Pete Carroll cheated. The university paid the price. Nobody recognizes anything that gets, nobody really cares if things get vacated. Still got your
Let's
butt kicked 55-19.
well, not even that. Let's look at it. Let's look at it like this: the only people who were responsible for the cheating, not the college kid, uh, not the fans, not
No.
the university. The coach and the boosters are the only ones who didn't get any kind of punishment.
Yeah.
Pete lands on his feet in Seattle, wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush loses his Heisman for something everyone was doing at the time
But
and
I
is
mean,
completely kosher now.
you mentioned that the Heisman Trust is obviously terrible in the PR department, but also you're dealing with the fact that Reggie has been a pretty respected analyst,
This is true.
college football broadcast for Fox, and there you have a guy on the dais who at one time was sitting right there next to Bob Stoops. That
All right.
has been robbed. Has been taken away. Now here's
Sure.
the
They
thing.
didn't take OJ Heisman from him and he sold the
No,
dang thing.
and Billy Sims has pawned his a couple of times.
Billy Sims has done a little
I'm
time.
told. I'm told. Billy Sims just need child support money. That's all.
Sure.
If you haven't been there in your life, then I don't know what to tell you.
You're gonna have. I don't know.
I won't tell the OCPD how many times I pawned my service pistol. No, I'm joking. No, but anyways, I didn't have a problem with Reggie Bush last week. I don't have a problem with it this week. Everybody knew going in, and here's the thing, and here's where Texas fans have a leg to stand on. It, somebody commented, "Oh, great, they gave him back Vince Young's Heisman."
Hmm.
I mean, as much
Yeah.
as I hate the UTA,
Well, I mean, I guess Liner's got AD's Heisman.
that very well
I
could
mean, was there a better player in college football that season than Adrian
there was
Peterson, who
not,
was just a pup?
other than when it got to the Orange Bowl.
Well,
I remember the excitement after Travis Wilson caught that first touchdown. I was like, all right, and but
yeah, and then the wheels fell off.
boom goes the dot. All right, so Weekend Big Show coming to a wrap. That's unfinished business. Also, if we weren't running so short on time, I would have thrown in some Zion talk because I think he had been closed out by the time we. No, they didn't. They had not closed them out by the
They
time
closed him out Sunday,
Saturday or something.
Monday.
Yeah, no, it was Saturday afternoon. Because
Was
remember
it
last
Saturday?
week I said I don't like those Saturday afternoon games,
No,
so it was
I think it was
not been
Monday.
closed out.
Was it, man? I think it was Monday.
No, because the
Nah.
Nuggets closed out.
No. It was Monday because Saturday I was. Yeah, Saturday I watched the game and it was just a blowout.
Oh yeah, yeah. So they did have one more game in Nala.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So, okay, so Zion wouldn't be unfinished business, but he's obviously proven to be a bit
He,
heartless. Uh,
yeah, I kind of that's I believe we talked about it last time we were on you know, there's not too many worse places you can go if you're a big man who likes to eat that doesn't need to be eaten than New Orleans, Louisiana.
hey, let me tell you something. I've talked to my wife about where we might roll into, if we did decide to make another move and really get away from Storm Central. And although hurricanes are huge, anything down along the Gulf Coast Highway was ruled out due to my proficiency for spicy foods. So yes, New Orleans would not be good for me as well.
Well, and the 100% humidity on a daily
Oh
basis
yeah,
is no bueno.
I guess that helps you sweat out the sodium.
Arizona, Chuck. Arizona.
Oh yeah, I tell you, yeah, golf year round, night
There you go.
golf year round.
Yep.
Speaking of, we've got to sit down eventually and track out our golf outing that we're going to try to do in June. You liked a post that I put on Twitter earlier in the week, and you noticed it. I guess Connor Carr keeps checking in and out because I've gotten 4 notifications saying that he's watching. So pick,
He's working from home. I think he
oh,
brought that up.
checking in. Pick a lane, pal.
Yeah, right.
3 minutes ago, Schefter reports that the Buffalo Bills signed former Bears and Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool. That guy
Oh,
that guy's been I hope he finds a niche there with Josh Allen because he's obviously talented, but man, he hadn't found the right group.
he's got some mental issues. I guess
Hey,
his work ethic.
do you follow umpire scorecards on Twitter?
I do not.
Oh, you
I guess
should.
I need to.
The Angel Hernandez posts are greatest.
How is that dude still?
Oh,
I
it's
mean, at this
not
point, it's like
schlock.
it's not racism, dude. You're just terrible.
Uh-huh. Awful Announcing has a video with Stephen A. Smith taking exception with Patrick Beverly's behavior. So I love the brother. Yeah. I just had lunch with him last week.
We showered together.
And Patrick Beverly had lunch and took our kids to the park. Um, oh, we put out a tweet earlier, and I want to say this out on the podcast. Craig Larson, who had been with Gal Media in Houston and was the program director for Sports Map Radio. I caught it late. It was February that he was released from that venture, and I guess Sports Map Radio is off the air. Sports Map Radio, Craig Larson hooked me up with being able to syndicate Sports Map Radio back in, what was that, 2021, Jeremy, that we
KSEY days, yes.
yeah, the KSEY days, 2021.
What was the who's the guy that oh my gosh, the raspy voice gentleman that was on
Yeah,
there?
Scott Farrell.
Scott Farrell, yeah.
Farrell.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Celtics are going to close them out tonight. I mean, it hurt to listen to him. But what I found out, Jeremy, was interesting, and this is probably not the greatest sign for a sports network, was that they were actually simulcasting him on SportsMap from Sports Grid. So, but
There's two different entities.
it was just we need a block of programming here. Scott Farrell's on with this. Let's run it. But what I found out is they had several spots in their lineup that they had trouble filling, I guess. But they lost the douchebag kid that was a huge Yankees homer that used to be on in the mornings. Can't remember his name. But he was huge Yankee homer. You know, you're in Houston. Houston's contending for titles, and you're being a Yankee homer. But they were national. But Tony Desiri and Ron Culver did Wake Up Call. That was a good show in the mornings. And actually, not only did 12:30 a.m. KSEY, we became an affiliate back when we used to run that for Sports Map Radio, but also the franchise in Oklahoma City. Their nighttime programming was Sports Map, and they also had a esports show, I believe, on Saturdays with a lady from Norman. And I'm terrible with names, so I apologize. But Craig Larson was let go, and then Gal Media decided to. And what's sad about that, not just for Craig, but Jeremy, Sports Map Radio was the final incantation of one-on-one sports, which was very near and dear to me from back in the 90s.
Yes.
One-on-one sports was out of Chicago. And Cleet Jones is watching. Hi, Cleet.
Cleet Damn Jones.
Damn Jones. Dan Narvis series catching up to do here. Things just got too thick here. Here, the NBA theme based on Isaac Hayes. Okay, so okay, Dan. So, but one-on-one sports
before it was Round Ball Rock.
Yeah. One-on-one Sports was one of the greatest sports talk networks I've ever experienced and listened to a lot of overnights there. So, Cleet Jones, hello, gentlemen.
Did you see the skit on Saturday Night Live with Sudeikis and Tim Robinson doing the when they oh gosh, what's the guy's name? He's on Entertainment Tonight. He wrote the Round Ball Rock place. John Tesh.
Oh,
John Tesh and his brother doing the Round Ball Rock for the NBC executives.
When you mentioned Sudeikis, I was afraid you were going to say Will Forte and the bowling play-by-play.
No.
And all of those fake pitches that Sudeikis would do for hygiene products. They were so bad.
I'll
Hey,
see if I can dig that up and I'll send it to you.
yeah. But so anyways, one-on-one sports was my favorite sports talk network when I worked nights back in the old patrol days, man. I mean, it was always on when I was driving around and stuff. And uh John Renshaw was just a wonder kid on that network back then in the early 90s, mid 90s. And then Bob Kemp was the true overnight guy, and he was Arnie Spanier, who's on Fox Sports on Sundays with Chris Plank, was on back then. So
Stinking
one-on-one,
genius.
yeah, the stinking genius. One-on-one sports was just outstanding, nationally syndicated sports talk, and I used to love that. Then it became sporting news radio,
Sporting News Radio,
and it
yes.
became Bleacher Report.
Wasn't Todd Wright all night on Sporting News Radio? What a
I thought Todd Wright was the mothership. Anyways, so
maybe he's yeah.
anyway, condolences to Craig Larson. I'm sure being a radio guy, he's going to oh, is this what you're around Ball Rock? Man, Tim Robbins, that guy got the boot from SNL, but he's kicked it in the butt with Netflix. All right, so listen
Yes.
here. Don't forget, if you would, please go to lawdogsports.com if you want some Pat Green and Josh Abbott tickets for next Friday at Lucky Star Casino in Clinton. This is the Weekend Big Show. Jeremy, real quick, what do you got on the agenda for the weekend? And we've gone long.
Nothing.
All right.
Nothing at all. I'm waiting on a plumber today.
Kentucky Derby goes on tomorrow. Don't care about that. I guess we'll see more Eli Drinkwitz stuff comes out. So
Sure.
anyway, well, hey man, it's been fun, and we had a lot of content, a lot of people checking in, and hopefully we will have some people go to lawdogsports.com, go to the leave a message. You can also go there and leave your take, and we will read it on the air if you do so. And also, I think we've been pretty good about reading our comments on the Facebook live stream as well.
Yes.
Anyways, Jeremy, have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you real soon.
All right, you too.
He's Jeremy Schroeder. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog. This has been the Weekend Big Show on Law Dog Sports. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you next Friday.